Today we tackle File Explorer alternatives. It is becoming very evident that Microsoft's doing some shenanigans. Some shenanigans are at foot when it comes to the new 24H2 and beyond. So we need to look at what kind of file explorers are there, alternatives. As many people have mentioned in chat, there is Finder in Macintosh. Ugh, gross. There is Dolphin in KDE on Linux. You have Nautilus, which is fantastic on the Linux side of things. But when we actually talk about file explorers in Windows here, we need to tackle some of the open source projects that exist. There's Files v3, there's File Explorer Plus Plus, I think, or Explorer Plus Plus. Just so many different ones that there are that we can tackle. Total Commander, One Commander, yeah, a lot to go over. Kind of look at some other stuff, which is kind of crazy. Oh man, PC Man FM, Thunar, my personal favorite. Yeah. You got the new Cosmic one, which is interesting. You have Linux has infinite options. That's the beauty. Windows is kind of like a strange tacked on alternative. So, and kind of looking at the evolution of the WinUtil and kind of where we're at on things, it's just been it's been a strange couple weeks, and it all stemmed from working on that project. So I'm very thankful for the Windows utility and making it. It's made me kind of stay on top of everything, which is great. So it's almost like, so when I was full-time at a business doing like managing thousands of people or thousands of computers, it was I was definitely much more on top of things. And the thing that Windows utility is kind of brought back to me, I think, for a couple years when I just went full Linux on everything, and I was kind of like part-time at my day job, I kind of lost a little bit of that. And then Windows utility, the past probably 5 months of pretty heavy development, forces me to get back into it and look at the inner workings of Windows a lot more. And I'm really appreciative of that, because like when I see these PRs come in, sometimes I just scratch my head. I'm like, there's something else going on here. And I love that. So yeah, we need to make a tier list. Agreed. That's true. So I think first off, we actually start installing some of this stuff and seeing what we have. There's so many different ones too. So many different ones to look at. Yeah. Some people just say just use Linux, but I mean, some people, I get it. There's things, even a veteran Linux user like me, there's still things in Windows that I'm just like, yeah, Windows does it better on things that are built for Windows. You know, what are you going to do if you need the Microsoft Office suite? Yeah, you could use an old janky version through Wine and have a rough experience, or, you know, you're going to use Windows for that type of stuff. There's certain pieces of software that don't have feature parity between operating systems. DaVinci Resolve, I've talked about, where DaVinci Resolve and Linux just arguably, not even arguably really, it just has less of a feature set. So, I mean, they still work, but you are giving up a little bit to do that sacrifice. And for some people, it does make sense to make that leap now, where they're like, okay, all I'm doing is playing some games. Most of those work on Linux, and I'm willing to just say, screw this, I need to learn something new. This is scary. And I get that. And I think I always, if there's one sentiment over the last couple weeks I've learned from the whole recall debacle, is this: Microsoft is probably the best advertisement for Linux than anything Linux is doing. I mean, full stop. There's a lot of pain usually in learning a new operating system, especially when you have something with as many options as Linux has. And people are willing to go through that pain now because of how crappy Microsoft has made Windows. So I think we take a moment and say, thanks, Microsoft. If you didn't screw things up as bad as you did, I don't think I would have ever learned Linux. And that's true for me back in 2018 when they started doing a lot of the automatic updates. You got to remember, I think a lot of people use the phrase, you know, boil a frog, and where they slowly increase the temperature until the frog eventually just gets boiled alive. And that's most Windows users now. Because think back 10 years ago in Windows 7, you had to run updates, guys. It didn't just automatically do that. You had to download them, you know? You had to click update now, restart my computer. People forget that's how computers used to be just 10 years ago. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. So, we probably need to do, I think I'm going to do a series of videos on the main channel. Obviously, I'll keep developing the Windows utility, but I think a series of, hey, if you're a gamer, this would probably be your suitable thing. Suitable one. Oh, 1 second here. Got foreign language in chat. Yeah, make sure we keep that out. Let's go. Yeah, we'll just time you out for 10 minutes. Maybe you didn't know. Oh, never mind. I guess I banned him. Oh well. don't for any kind of foreign language. He probably was like, thanks for doing stuff, but I can't read it, so I just gotta assume the worst. Sad to say. Oh well. Mods ban him. I don't know if we have any mods on YouTube. Don't get me started on YouTube Live. It's too early in the stream for YouTube Live. But anywho, let's get on the desktop. Let's see where we're at. And we're going to start going. I think I'm going to start with probably the biggest projects and go to the more obscure projects. Are we ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. First up, let's go Files v3. GitHub. So, Files community. This has gotten weird. So, I used to really love Files, like back when they did it like 2 or 3 years ago, but they were trying to monetize in a way I just can't get behind. And it's made the application suck. So I used to be like, Files is amazing. This is a great little project a couple years ago. I tried it recently and I'm like, this is just hot garbage now. And it's sad, but you know, it's the way things go sometimes. Maybe they'll reverse course. But basically how they tried to monetize it is you buy it from the Microsoft Store. And they made it a Windows app. Shenanigans. So by doing it this way, it's completely made it dog water, super slow. Well, let's install it and just show that so you can see it in real time. All right. 1 second. Watery Events, thanks for joining the text over on YouTube. So yeah, let's go. We're just gonna go classic installer, and you'll see. Oh well, chat's in the way, but behind chat you'll see right here we got the app installer, and this is gonna load up that in the store. And this installer is basically what happens when things, there's a whole bunch of different ways to install programs in Windows. People need to understand some things just don't have the executables. But when you have it through the Microsoft Store, it works through a whole different interface, and it's more sandboxed, but also kind of crazy. So here you go. This was the load up of files. Just to show you that one more time. This is a file explorer, mind you. Let's go files. Documents. It feels bad. Like, whatever they did to this program, it feels laggy and slow and just generally bad. So when I pull up this file explorer over here, like let's just pull this up, right? This, you click in, it much better. Well, other than some of my bad broken shortcuts, but it's so much faster. It feels Completely different. So Files v3 was the closest thing I saw to the stock one that I thought, oh, that might be good. And it's just kind of a side-by-side comparison. And I'm not sure what happened to it. Yeah, so it doesn't populate quite right. Something's going on with it. Maybe they added too many features to the Files v3. Whatever they've done, it's kind of just gone the way of, just even a right click. Look at the difference. Right click. Okay, right click. Okay, there's a right click. And then we do a right click over here, and it's just like so much of a difference that by baking it into the Microsoft Store, making a Windows application, and the only installer is from the Microsoft Store, has made this application unusable and complete garbage. So that's my review of Files. That's not going to make for much of a YouTube video, but that's the truth. So let's uninstall that. Now, you can't go through the standard app installer. You have to uninstall because it's, again, a regular app. We'll just come down here and right click and get rid of that. So we'll just go uninstall and uninstall. Files to not everything on Windows feels bad. Certain things I'm okay with. Maybe I'm just accustomed to it. It could be the Shawshank Redemption effect. You're just institutionalized. I have been using it for a long, long time. All right, so now Files should be gone, right? It's still there. Okay, 1 second. There it goes. So the problem with a lot of modern day Windows, I kind of also wanted to start with Files too, just to kind of explain something about Windows programs. A lot of these are kind of like hidden in the directory. So Microsoft has closed off so much more of the system than what used to be available. So if you ever do want to get to like Windows apps themselves, you can come right in here and go into Windows apps like this. And this is where it would be stored at, is C program Windows apps. Now, it's not going to allow me because I'm a user right now. But if you want and manage any kind of Windows apps that gets kind of baked in from the Microsoft Store, they just essentially hid it from you. So let's go probably program files. And we're going to do it from terminal. I mean, not terminal, but Windows apps. So then we have everything here. Now, this is why PowerShell is so important for Windows users. People sometimes from Windows go, oh, I got everything in a GUI. And I'm like, not so fast. There's a lot of stuff Microsoft Windows hides from you, and you can't quite get to it unless you use PowerShell. And this is probably the easiest way I find to manage Windows applications, but also see kind of, hey, what is going on with this specific app that's getting installed from the Windows Store? The executables and the binaries are still all right here. How it's managed and sandboxed and maintained with like specialized permissions is funky, but it's good to know this is where the files are for this specific thing. So if, you have anything installed secretly or kind of from a Windows application perspective, it's here. But this doesn't also show the full story either. As we learned with recall, that's confusing, right? Because recall, there is no real binary. There is no service, right? When you go into services, sorry to blind y'all, but you know how much I love doing that. You would typically see in old Windows, like Windows 10 probably, the beginning of Windows 10 has kind of started to shift, but they would be here. They would be listed among the actual services. But now Windows is doing different things and kind of implementing a feature set which is completely different, which is important to know. So with recall, they kind of hit it a different way. Now, if we go app with CPL, I know I'm using Windows 7 features because Windows never really gets rid of anything. They simply move it around on you. And this kind of shows you where most features are. Now, these Windows features are usually baked directly into Windows, and this is where recall was baked in. And that's why it's like, it's not set aside to ever be uninstalled. That's why I'm like, hey, this is actually going to be part of Windows, much like Internet Explorer was during the late 90s, early 2000s with that whole bake-in. And a lot of its dependencies kind of getting tied in, getting its hooks into the root of the system. And that's kind of where recall is too. So that's where you can look at other things or actual Windows features in here that might not even be a service. So just a quick history lesson there. Why I hate Windows applications, why I hate a lot of Windows features. You can see this Microsoft Edge is kind of like a weird hybrid approach where they kind of bake it in everywhere. And don't get me started with Edge. But luckily, the EU forced them to unbake it, so to speak. So we need to approach removing Edge too. And I think right now we're doing a region change to Ireland and then doing an uninstall because in Ireland, since it's part of the EU and they speak English, since I'm English, I prefer to just switch to that region and then do the uninstalls directly. So, Active Desktop. Ugh, gross. Yeah, any of the ActiveX stuff was pretty rough too from that whole era with Internet Explorer. Awful. And I'm not pronouncing Internet Explorer wrong. That's exactly what we all called it. And that's what you should have called it too, because there was nothing good about that program. Microsoft broke IE by putting a DLL in the modem. In the DLL, yeah, it was wild. There's so much undocumented API usage too that happens in Windows. It's also how they killed WordPerfect. A lot of people don't realize the world would look much different if the monopoly of Microsoft was broken up in the late 90s. Yes, there was rulings specifying they were a monopoly and they were supposed to get broken up, but that got actually overturned in appeals court because they successfully lobbied the district that got presided in. So, yes, Microsoft was ruled a monopoly. There's a lot of legal documentation stating such, but nothing ever came of that because of it. So, fun fact too. But Microsoft Office came to prominence because of an update. I think it was during Windows 98 SE, and Microsoft locked out WordPerfect and made a bunch of changes to the system to specifically break WordPerfect, which was the de facto standard word processor used in businesses at that time. And that effectively killed most of WordPerfect's usage or install base, and then they took it and offered up Microsoft Office as a solution. So fantastic, ruthless business move by Microsoft to dominate the Office, and why you use Microsoft Office today because of the mafia of Microsoft. Kind of cool. So the more you know. Yeah, breaking WordPerfect, it was disgusting. I'm still salty about that. WordPerfect was a good program, and it's still around. I mean, it's still out there, but obviously Microsoft kind of kneecapped them. Yeah, Lotus 123 and WordPerfect. Yeah. Oof. The hotkeys alone were amazing. Okay. So we've tried Viles v3. Let's move on to the next one. I think we actually have one commander in here too. And one commander is also a Microsoft or Windows app. Now, it doesn't feel as bad as Files v3. You have a side-by-side comparison, kind of like a Total Commander ripoff, and it does move quite a bit faster. So it's not just a limitation of it, but I don't like the install base and kind of tracking down one commander. So let's see. Oh, let's go. Where is this at? I don't think it has C program files. No, maybe it's not a actual Windows app. I spoke too soon. So one commander is interesting. So this is, if you really like this setup, maybe try it out. I don't particularly like One Commander, but if you do like the side-by-side and kind of the new look and age of it, just still not, doesn't feel quite right to me though. So I wanted to show that alternative, which One Commander, let's see where that is. I believe it's open source and free as well, but let's check their GitHub just to make sure. Where is it? onecommander.com. So this is where I got it, onecommander.com, but I wanted to see his MSI file. So this isn't a Microsoft store. They do have a pro and commercial license for 25 bucks. There is Microsoft Store and requires Microsoft Store account. Ugh. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought there were some store dependencies here that kind of wanted to throw it out as well. All right. Interesting side effect. Very still dependent on Microsoft Store, which I hate. I don't understand why anyone would develop from the Windows Store in 2024. That doesn't feel right to me. Remember Norton Commander? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh, geez. Which kernel do you currently use? NT kernel. Yeah, 24H2's this system, just because I like to do all of my testing. On my inside system that I run Windows on, that's all 22H2. So I'm actually several feature revisions behind, and that's pretty stable for me at the time. Which Linux kernel? I am on 6.11 now. I still need to switch my AMD 7800 XT to this system for that. But I'll lose my DaVinci Resolve in Linux if I do it. So I'm kind of like on the fence. Directory Opus, that was another one. Let me look at that. Directory Opus. What's this one look like? GP software, features, buy, upgrade. It's like another shareware from Australia. Okay. Man, I don't know. I get that people need to get paid for their work, but I just hate to use a shareware kind of thing. I want to be able to install it for everybody. And that's the problem I run into with Windows. Everything costs like, dude, and this is kind of expensive too. One computer, $90 for a file explorer. Kind of insane. So, can't really go with that. So, there's a Yazi build for Windows as well. What the heck is that? Anytime I see these things, well, what's this? Blazing fast terminal file manager written in Rust. Not what I expected. Yazi means duck. Terminal file manager written in Rust. It aims to be efficient, user-friendly, and customizable file management experience. I got you. So it's like Ranger kind of style. And they do have a Windows built-in. So you could do something like this if you're very familiar with PowerShell and you're okay with opening up terminal to manage files. Yazi. I'm going to star that and come back to it. 15,000 stars. Looks kind of amazing. So that would be kind of cool. But for the normal person, they're probably not going to want to use that. Ranger is lame. Uses Python very slow. Yeah, this would probably be a lot faster for sure. And it looks very similar to it. So this would probably be a better... Here, let's just look at the example. Scrollable preview. Wow. Of course, there's anime girls. Wouldn't be on GitHub if it didn't have that. Vim-like input selection. I like it. I could see myself using something like this, but I understand I'd probably be in the minority. Oh, multi-tab and fuzzy finding. That's so awesome. Multi-selection and task management. Now that is cool. That's video worthy right there. So I understand though. Most people would not be turned on by that, but I sure am. I'm gonna come back to Yazi. That's cool. For me, it might work, but let's work for the normies now. I like it. Now, let's go for an average Windows user here. Thank you, chat, for recommending me Yazi. You know me too well. Yep. I did not misspeak when I said that. Let's look at, what about Explorer++? Anybody use that? So here's Explorer++. Looks pretty basic. Let's look on the Git of the hub. 2 weeks ago, over 2,000 commits. We've got 2,000 stars on Explorer++. Let's go ahead and star it. We've got releases here. It's written primarily in C++. Solid. It's a lightweight, fast file manager for Windows and does have tabs, directory listing, bookmarks, all the things that we want. 64-bit. And I kind of like it. I don't see any issues from how it's built, how it's being deployed, and I like the fact it's open source. So 1.4 is here. Let's just download the zip file. Look at that. We actually get a binary. So then we have Explorer++. Let's extract this. And we'll try it out. So there's that. Now, it doesn't honor theming, it looks like. So give me a second. I'm sure they have a dark theme in here. If I know the open source realm, I bet you customize colors maybe. Nope. Let's go, and it's got to be options, right? Could be edit preferences too. Window, tabs, default settings. Nope. File, edit, selection, view. Maybe they put it in view. Just change display window colors. Huh. Interesting. It's under settings. It looks a little dated. I can give you that. But let's not pass judgment on it. Open source sometimes requires a little bit of tinkering. So I don't want to pass judgment yet. Where is that? I must have flown by it, right? I'm working on making it dark. But where? Oh, where is that darkness? Manage views. Okay, let's just go to the views. I like a lot of the options. I know some people will be turned off by some of the dated look, but why do you always pronounce GUI like it's a swear word? Is it not a swear word? Could have fooled me. Nah, some things are faster in the GUI. But a lot of things aren't. So it just depends on what you're doing. All right. Well, I don't see a dark mode for Explorer++. Dark mode, Explorer plus plus. Dark theme. Okay. So, do you download a theme for it? Huh. Let's look. Please try to compile DWM. Change needed. Just sudo make install. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can check that out, Peter. For reference, Darkbone has mostly been enveloped in development builds in this. Okay. Let's see if this is still open. So it does have some of the dark mode. Download a header file and recompile. That's funny. But why? Okay, I follow these in. Wow. Okay, I don't think this actually has a dark. Oh, wait. Here we go. I was about to say we don't. Sure, I wanted to keep things simple and try not to do the entire Rectify 11 system file modifications. Download themes.zip. Extract theme tool and place wherever you want. You may need to change themes. Use this tool. Oh, secure UX. Yeah, that's a system modification. I really hate using secure UX for theming. All right. Well, I think we're just going to have to keep an eye on that, but space drive, I can take a look. Ah, man. Yeah, looking at it, I gotta say I'm disappointed that they've not put more emphasis on adding a dark mode. That's gonna be such a major issue. Must be something weird with Windows. They do have a development build. Let's try that. All right, let's see. So this is the current one. Let's try the dev build. I was like, sure, I don't need to do as admin. Let's just run as a user. Okay. Tools. Options. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go, a dark mode. A little bit too dark there, but you know. Let's go general fonts. Fonts look a little off too. Man, it's pretty bad when Linux has better options than this. All right, well, let's go with Fluent. All right, restart Explorer. Okay, that's better. There we go. The UI is horrible in Explorer++. This kind of has some Windows 7 vibes down here. Let's go to like pictures or something, right? So the preview pane down here gives you specifications on what each one is. I kind of appreciate that. I could see the benefit of it. And that's not terrible. And then we also have open as a new tab. So then you get your tabs. You can also get rid of the tree if you don't want the tree. Yeah, that's not bad. You got to go with the development build of it to really get going with dark mode. But other than that, it's not awful. The next thing I kind of want to see, I do like the fact you can open up inside the directory. So like, let's say you're here, open in terminal. Does that push us in downloads? It does. Cool. Very functional, just not very pretty. Now, I'm very much a function over form kind of guy. So to me, this would probably be something I would choose. It's completely open source. File Explorer, not using some janky install method like a Windows application through and requiring like a Microsoft Store account. Clunky, I don't think I would say that. I would just say the UI is dated. So that's about it. Yeah, we already tried Files, Dove. It's slow as dirt. So Files isn't very good, in my opinion. Feels bad. This feels good, but looks bad. Files looks good, but works bad. We got the exact opposite problem here now. Does Dolphin work in Windows? Yeah, one commander looked decent. I just didn't like the double pane. I think one commander's okay, but it does require a Microsoft account and it is a Windows application. So I couldn't bundle that in with like a setting or anything like that. All right, let's try Dolphin. I mean, I'm very familiar with Dolphin, right? Dolphin for Windows? That's hilarious they made that. Is that a thing? Oh. Not that Dolphin. Nintendo, don't come after me, man. I just literally pulled it and it's Google search's fault. Don't sue me, bro. Ah, no, it's on YouTube. It's quickly. File, manager. I gotta get out of here. Okay, quick. God, I hope they don't claim this video. The Nintendo lawyers will get after me. All right, it does work on Windows. Does it? That'd be kind of cool. Maybe. So here you go. You got CI build, system, Dolphin, master, Windows. This is a nightly build though. I mean, we could try it. Let's see. Probably don't want to use this version, but when in Rome. KDE's always been something. There you go. All right, here we go. Let's close out of this. So we have Dolphin now. Let's try it out. Let's go apps. Did it install in the... Ah. Oh, that's just like the Linux version. It honors the theming. And you have new tabs. Open terminal here. That does work. Well, yeah, that's not terrible. You got a little bit of a flicker up at the top left. It's kind of interesting. Overall, though, kind of has everything that I need. I wonder, could you do like a F4 terminal split like you do in Linux? Show panels. Let's see. Let's go like F4. I think it's Alt F4. Oh. All right. Sorry. That's great. As soon as I saw this, I thought I was in Linux, and I was like, oh. So many shortcuts. But I was just seeing, like, Dolphin has this really cool... Yeah, this works pretty good. So far, I think this is probably my front runner. Yeah, I just trolled myself with Alt F4. But in my defense, there is a feature. Let me pull it up so y'all don't think I'm just crazy. Open terminal panel Dolphin file manager. I want to say that the hotkey has to be press F4 while navigating the desired directory. So in Linux, you can press F4 and Shift F4 opens console in a new window. And it opens this up. So if you're in here, you can go F4 or Shift F4, and then it opens it up directly. For some odd reason, my brain defaulted to Alt F4. But F4 typically would do that. Yeah, so Shift F4 does it. They do not have a terminal panel that embeds into here, which to be expected, really. The fact this works as well as it does, and it being Windows, is nice. I like this. You got your basic, yeah. So I think this would probably be my default. Now, the best way to make this default, so when you go to open up something, probably a regedit, I would imagine, would probably be the best way. So what would that be? Probably, let me see. Let's find exactly where Dolphin is. Let's see how easily we can do like a replacement for File Explorer. Let's say you stripped out Recall and you have the old school Explorer and you're like, hey, I want tabs, or you wanted Dolphin instead. Let's go open file location. So it's C program files Dolphin bin is where it's at. That's where the executable is going to live. Let's do a system modification live to say, let's get that. Probably go, I think it's, I want to say Windows current version. No, it's not Windows. Maybe it's Windows NT since it's an old version, then current version. Then we go image file execution options. And then I think from image file execution options, you can just go string value. Under this, oh, wait. No. Let me delete that real fast. Where are you at? Explorer doesn't exist. So let's go new key, explorer.exe. So we're going to modify Windows. You saw this actually quite a bit in the Windows XP era, where viruses would take over Explorer and then it would break your Windows. Now, some people think it gets patched out, but nothing ever gets patched out in Microsoft. It just gets tacked on. Nature of the beast. So probably here, and I want to say debugger. And then let's try and change Dolphin. Yeah. So we're going to go copy. We'll essentially replace Explorer with Dolphin.exe. I think that, let's see, do we have another one? Oh, yeah, the mitigation options. Stupid Spectre and stuff. Eh. But okay. So with that in, I believe we can just come into Task Manager and we're going to find Explorer. We'll kill it. We'll just end it. And then, my mistake. I forgot. Oops. That did work, just not quite how I wanted. Trying to think. If you change the Explorer, we're just going to get spammed on startup. So you still need Explorer kind of there. How do I, like, redirect it to Dolphin as a default? Might be a better way than using image file execution options. I mean, we could do like a WSL and then just completely... It's like a bastardized version of Linux at that point. Let me think on this one for a second. Yeah, desktop's part of Explorer, isn't it? Well, shucks. It's a good idea. Set Dolphin as shell in reg. Yeah. I mean, technically this would work. Yeah, I mean, do you really even need a desktop? That's also a question. Anyways. Explorer.exe. Trying to think, what else can I do here? Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll just take that out for now. Explorer. Yeah, with it being an integral part of the desktop, I mean, I guess it makes sense of why Recall's baked into Explorer so it can take pictures of your entire desktop that gets opened up. I was just hoping that we could find something that would be an alternative to that, to where we control the desktop. So, like, if Recall couldn't just come right in and take pictures of it. And the idea is you replace Explorer with an alternative so that doesn't happen. Huh. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can just do a drop-in. I've used, like, Kramabi and some other stuff, too. My favorite was Glazed WM. Glazed WM is pretty cool for a tiling portion of it. I wonder... I don't even know if anybody on their team has done this, but what we could do... Man, we're starting to go down the rabbit hole. This is going to be pretty advanced user territory. Oh, wait. Glazed WM went to crap and now requires edge for the top bar? You gotta be kidding me. Requires edge? Why? Why would they do that? No. Oh, we got something? All right, Dove. Thanks for that. We do have something in chat here. Let's go over. Let's see what we got here. XDA. All right. Yes, you can actually change the default file explorer in Windows. Here's how. Where you get started. Okay, yeah. A few file managers, one command, total commander already provide built-in explains essentially there. Registry hacks. So they say Win Commander or Total Commander would work. Change the default one. Just doing a shell. So they're saying go H key classes root, drive shell. And then we would do a new key. And the key would be under open and command. So there's two keys. I guess open key's probably already there under shell, and then you do command. And then you would do like one commander with a percent sign. Since they're giving examples of one commander, we could easily do that. Yeah, it's a little jank. And it doesn't fix our desktop issue. Yeah, I guess we didn't try Total Commander yet. Yeah, we tried Explorer++. Let's look at Total Commander. A lot of people swear by it. I haven't used it in a long time. So let's go 64-bit version. Total Commander. Oh. Oh, man. I am out of it today. Goodness. All right. Let's go over. Trying to install Total Commander on the other instance. Like, oh, it's not actually working. Pay no attention to that. All right. So here's Total Commander. Now, this should be... Oh my god, Total Commander all the way from Win 3-1. Nice. Oh, Pop's still using it today. Now, is there a dark mode to Total Commander? I guess we shall find out. Oh my. Oh my, that brings me back. All right. Getting some 2003 vibes here. All right, Total Commander. Oh, lame. Shareware. God bless. All right. Well, at least they have a dark mode built in. It's not the worst thing in the world. And at least you can buy the software and you don't rent it. So there's that. Right click for selection. It's a little odd. I mean, I can see why people like it if you're really used to this type of thing, but it's just a bit on the dated side for my liking. Yeah, I get it. I remember it. We're not using that, though. Yeah. Dolphin, I think, is the best for what we're trying to do here. Did Windows Security flag Total Commander? Look at that. It did. It flagged it as a potentially unwanted program. Or potentially unwanted application is what the PU. PUP stands for potentially unwanted program. PUA is potentially, what was it? Potentially unwanted app. Whatever. Yeah, I did notice that this is no longer getting flagged. So the executable for WinUtil has gotten enough runs and enough submissions to Windows Defender, we no longer get flagged as a virus. Only took like 3 years and 2 million runs, but we made it. We finally made it. Yeah, you could simply pin Dolphin. Probably the best way is to do the shell open command with a Dolphin. Something like, let's just do Dolphin. I feel like Dolphin's a good in between. Let's go. So they wanted to go to root, and then you come down to shell. Shell. Where are you at? Shell. Let's go up. Oh no. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. My bad. Let's go shell. All right, and shell, open command. XY Plore. Thanks, Jake, for the super chat. I don't think I've ever used XY Plore. What is that? File manager for Windows. License, $15. I mean, I get it. Like, if you're on Windows, they're going to sell you stuff. I do like this look better. I wonder if it has a dark mode. You can download a 30-day free trial. Yeah. I think we use Dolphin because I want a drop-in replacement for folks. So, probably open command. I wonder why cursor's here. Were we over here? I can't remember. What's the history look like? No. That wasn't it. And what was the drive shell? Oh, did I miss the drive? Oh, I missed the drive shell. Okay. So you got root, and then they want drive shell. Loop, thanks for the time. I think Dolphin from Linux is actually the best for Windows. So I think that's going to be probably the close ones. Charlie, thanks for the tier 1. 6 months. All right, man. You pasted one earlier. You got File Explorer 2 to look at, too. Let's see. I mean, we could also use the old version before tabs. That's also an option. It's not like it's broken. So, there is that option. Let's go GitHub. So here's the one posted from chat. File Explorer with tab browsing. I mean, that's pretty much cut and dry. File Explorer is a Windows file manager with the interface similar to Windows. However, it browses and searches files faster. 2 months ago was the last update. It's portable, but requires 4.8, which is a pretty old .NET framework at this point. Yeah, Space Drive's been linked before. We can check that out too. Bulk rename. Classic right click. I mean, pretty much got that right now anyways. Some zip compatibility. Advanced filtering, highlight rules, save and load loadouts. You can change your loadouts. That's cool. Printing, exporting, and obviously light and dark theme. That seems pretty straightforward. I like this. Pretty good. Let's check Space Drive is the next one. Was it Space Drive? Ah, here we go. Space Drive, an open source cross-platform file explorer powered by Visual Distributed File System written in Rust. You always know something's written in Rust because they tell you. It's like the CrossFit of Linux or programs in general. Ooh, it does look pretty though. What is a VDFS? A file system designed to work across a variety of different storage layers with a unifying API to manipulate and access content from different devices. Yeah, they will scream, "We wrote this in Rust." Rust, by the way. you get the double gold star if you say you're an Arch, by the way, and you write in Rust. That is too awesome. Look at this stack. The PRRTT stack. Prisma, Rust, React, TypeScript, and Tari. Okay. Damn. Cool. Lots of stars. Almost 32,000 stars. It's only alpha release yet. Interesting. Kind of like it so far. Let's install it. This looks like a next level. Kind of want to see what it has. Looks like a lot of love went into this one. So let's try Space Drive. Yeah, it looks interesting. Like all the other file explorers I pulled up, I was kind of like, eh. I mean, it would work. But it's like a normal person's not going to look at it and go, wow, this is an upgrade. Where Space Drive might fit that bill. And that might be what we're looking for. All the other solutions I've pulled up thus far has seemed like a downgrade from the traditional. Do I need to reboot? Okay. There's a patch. Huh. Oh, for DWM, yeah. I hadn't even tried it since 6.6.11. You said it won't compile? I bet mine will. Huh. Let's reboot this. And while we're rebooting, we'll try that rebuild of DWM. I think I'm all up to date, right? Yeah. Yeah, mine rebuilt just fine. What'd you say the problem was there, Peter? Oh, it just won't work? What was the issue you're having? As this seems to be working good for me. Crash of X11 after compiling it. 100% of the time. So how do I crash it? You know, I'm always game for crashing my system. We're still waiting for our reboot. Let's crash our main system while we're doing it. Yeah, but how did you initiate the X11 crash? Segfault kernel system D notices it? But I'm sudo make install. I just did it. Right here. Right? Do I need to quit out and relaunch? We can. Yeah, I know. We need to do some linutil work. I'm going to do that on... Hey, space drive's back up. Okay. Oh, it crashes after that? I don't know, man. I don't know about that here. Let's quit. I'm game for crashing. Huh. What were you doing to crash it? Well, I mean, I can compile it right here, too. Yeah. Sudo make clean install if we want to clean the build and then redo it, too. It's working good on my end. It works for me. Typical Linux user. Well, it works on my computer. My DWM just works. It just works, you know. Yeah. I do use a lot of DWM. That's funny. Let's go vert. Did I shut down that VM? Nah, it's still running. Let's go on my looking glass. Oh, IVSH mem files jacked. Oopsies. 1 second. Slight detour. I did something. I was a bug in the kernel with AMD systems. Okay, good to know. Take it easy, Raz. Have a good night. Ugh, React OS. React OS is interesting. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite versions of Windows was, what, Windows Workstation 2000? That was quite an awesome version of Windows. Probably one of the best out there. And React, I think, was reverse engineered off of it. And I think they've updated it since to be based off of Windows Server 2003. But, I mean, that's super old at this point. Like, hell, there's stuff, Windows 7 and Windows 8 that doesn't work anymore. And you can't use those versions. So, using React OS it's a fun hobby project, don't get me wrong. But you're not going to ever daily drive that thing. They're working for adding support for ext2. That's cute. That's cool. All right, cool. Destroy that. Let's launch some space drive. All right, launching space drive. Any minute now. just going to open that up any second now. That still works. What? Space drive? It's there. Okay, let's just close space drive. Relaunch space drive. Okay. SD desktop launching. And yet you do nothing. I see the executable running. And yet I do not see an application. Where are you at, space drive? What happened? Oh, I had such high hopes for this. Oh, there's a section in space drive. You have to do a setup. Oh, okay, okay. Everyone link in chat. Ah, remove space drive desktop in the cache and space drive. All right, well, let's take a look at the getting started setup. It's apparently not as easy as I anticipated. I still kind of want to make it work, though. And frankly, we could always script something to get this going for the average day person. So it's not like the end of the world if something doesn't work right out of the gate. So spacedrive.com. Docs, product, getting started, setup. Okay. So to use space drive on your computer, blah, 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 install, having an issue, space drive not operating. Run this command to do it. Okay. So we'll just take this guy, paste it in. It is an alpha. Yeah, I gotcha. Parameter cannot be found that matches RF. Hey, whatever. All right, let's go. Does not exist. Okay. What about just cache? No, that doesn't exist either. Okay, well. Open space drive. We'll do debug logging. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, well. One more time with feeling. Neat. That's not working. Let's see. So you get the desktop installer here. We've downloaded it, right? Space drive Windows. Let's just reinstall just to have it. Local app data. All right, let's try that while that's installing. Local app data. Oh, all right, well. Space drive. Do we have anything here? Do not see any space drive. Let's kill that process. Is that SD desktop still going? Just running in the background? No, actually it's not. Well. Tell you what, let's just cancel this real fast. Let's run this as admin. Oh no, it's just gonna auto elevate. Well, it should at least. We might need to uninstall. Maybe I installed the wrong version. Program run as part of the setup did not exist. Okay, well. Problems. You see my reply on WinUtil issue 2887. Yeah, I'll probably check those soon. Right now, I've just been kind of taking it easy, actually. We got 100-something issues I got to go through. All right, so get rid of it. I'm thinking I just installed the wrong version. So we'll go directly from the getting started apps. Now let's see if this installs. No. No, that did not work either. Interesting. On Windows, it's under App Data Space Drive. Let's just try that. So there's space drive. Oh, space drive isn't here. Okay, let's just delete that. I think it's just not local app data, but just roaming app data. So let's try it one more time with feeling. Negative. Okay, well, that is interesting. Yeah. Well, let's maybe there's a different downloader that we can grab in the releases section. So you have this. This is the updater. Maybe we just grab an older version. Like right here. Space Drive MSI. I think we downloaded the updater and that was the problem. Alright, we're going to try this version of Space Drive. We could also try Winget or Chocolatey too. Yeah, we'll try that next. I think it would be because of... So strange. Let's go AppWiz. Just make sure it's not here. I don't see it anywhere here. Man. Potentially unwanted application found. Nah. All right, fine. What do we got? Whatever. Oh, that was sample protection. All right, protection history. Yeah, let's just remove. We cannot find this thread anymore. Please run. Okay. Probably because it doesn't exist. So, well, whatever. You tried turning it off and on again. I mean, you joke, but half the time in Windows, it does fix it. All right. Winget search space drive. There's space drive right there. Winget install. And we're just going to grab space drive. See if this works. If this doesn't work, then we'll just give it a reboot. Need Edge WebView 2 for it to work. Oh. So we have an Edge dependency as well. Oh, God. Why? Why is Windows got to make everything so painful? All right. I mean, I guess you could say the cynic out there could just be like, hey, stop modifying Windows. Just use it how Microsoft wants you to use it. I get it. I get it. Let's go. A of new edge removal, probably. Nope. Let's go GitHub. Can't remember there it is. Avio. Couldn't remember exactly what it was. Let's just grab that raw file. I can't remember. We just do like a. I could just do like an output probably. Gotta love syntax. All right, 1 second. Yeah, a lot of programs need to... Well, it's usually just the WebView component of Edge that's the problem. You can actually grab it. At least the last time I tried. We'll see how this goes. This is a little too forceful for my liking, but typically you can get WebView back with it. Although I didn't see what version. So if you need it, I think you can go Web View. Edge remove, get another browser, enter Firefox, reinstall, enter WebView. Yeah, I guess it didn't accept that. This might not work anymore. It just moves so fast. Oh, I need to do the reinstall. Okay. Maybe reinstall EdView like that? Or is it dash reinstall? Like that. Oh, I think that's just more of the same. Yeah. Just grabbing all of it. Okay, whatever. Give me Explorer back. We'll just download WebView. See if we can't just install it manually. Yeah. I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed by all this. Just disappointed. Oh, I forgot. I need to reinstall my browser too. Everything is breaking on this 24H2 one. WebView's in Winget too. All right, let's just do Winget then. Why make it more complicated than it needs to be? All right. Let's grab that WebView runtime. Forget if this is going to cause problems or not. I don't think it will. Oh, there's mandatory telemetry on Space Drive. Yeah, it's an alpha product. That makes sense. I mean, so the whole point of telemetry is to, I mean, before I say what I'm about to say, let me preface this. I understand the hate on telemetry. So, and also how it's been massively abused by big companies. However, from a developer standpoint, you have to have telemetry when you're developing a product, unless you have just thousands of eyeballs on it. So the idea that Space Drive has telemetry, I'm not that concerned about that. Like, you need some version of telemetry on a lot of products, just so you know, hey, this is what people are using, this is what works, this doesn't work, because users are terrible about submitting bugs typically. They're just like, product don't work. And from a developer standpoint, that sucks. So I get the idea of doing some telemetry. Minimal telemetry is okay. You want to develop a product, you need that, especially in an alpha state. So I get it. But let's see. Hey, there we go. So it was just a WebView 2 component to Space Drive. Now, there we go. Okay, so here's the Space Drive alpha release. We're delighted to have you try Space Drive, now in an alpha release, showcasing exciting new features. All right, this may have some bugs, but we kindly request your assistance. Discord. All right, create a core library. Titus. Add locations. Let's go desktop. Downloads, pictures, documents. Let's just do it all. Sure. Share anonymous. Share the minimum. Okay. Cool. Local locations. Meet the grid view. Get a visual overview of your files with grid view. This view displays your files and folders as thumbnails. Okay, got it. Let's go settings. First order of business. What about, so you can do cloud, bleh, libraries, appearance, dark theme, yep, network. Oh, so then you can go between different, I kind of like that. Locations, tags. So if I go home, yeah, okay, I like that. And then you have tag sorting, so you could sort your stuff a little bit better. Recent jobs. Interesting. I could see messing around with this. Now, if I wanted to make it the default, yeah, I kind of like a lot of it. Initial impressions are good. It does feel good. That's fine. So you can reveal and explore. But it's not really meant as an Explorer replacement. It's more of an enhancement sitting on top of Explorer. I mean, you could use the old Explorer and then just dump into it when you need, but it's interesting. I like it. Why do I need the cloud when I have 80 terabytes? Just saying. I am the cloud. Yeah, I think Explorer Plus Plus is the most subtle flux. Yeah, Explorer Plus Plus I think is the best like drop-in replacement we found today so far. It's just you need to use probably like the development build to do dark theme. like looking at everything we're looking at, I do feel like this one right here is the closest thing I got for a replacement. It's just ugly is all. It's functional. You have tabs. Just from a looks perspective, this is gross. But is it redundant? Of course. Yeah, the file explorer that you linked from Omur. Yeah, the problem, well, I guess that's pretty close to it. Yeah. Let's see. We pulled that one up, but we didn't actually use it. Let's download it. So this has about 500 stars. Not a whole bunch of activity on it. But let's grab it. We're just going to extract this to File Explorer. Yeah, I kind of want it to be open source for sure. So then let's see what this one looks like. Loading. Dang, all right. Let's go themes. Let's go huh. Okay. Dark theme. It's not bad. A little bit slow, probably. Like the size. What's pictures look like? I wonder if there's like a preview pane. Let's go to view. So this is details. There's content view. You got list view, small icons, medium icons, large icons, extra large icons. We don't have a build of the thumbnails where your traditional file manager does probably. Let's see. Before I say it does, let's make sure it does. Why am I? There it is. I was like, well, should have that somewhere. Yeah. Man. None of this feels good. Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, it all just kind of... I think you either use the old file explorer, stripping the recall files out, or you just deal with the fact you got to do recall. Or just don't update 24H2. I think that's the options here. None of this feels like a drop-in replacement. The old Explorer doesn't have tabs, but if you can get past that, that's it. So, or switch to Linux or Mac. I really feel like that's the options we have. Like exploring these different Explorers, it's cool and all, but they don't feel great. And I don't view them as alternatives that are really going. I mean, yes, you can use them, but I feel like you should probably just stick with the old version of Explorer, strip the recall files out on your install. That's number one. So number one's that. Number two, except that, let's say you don't want to modify, you've updated 24H2, and you have the recall feature. The best you can do is disable the feature. So, can that feature get re-enabled by updates? Will it get reinstalled on updates? Probably. Honestly, when it comes to 1 and 2, recall will probably get installed. Actually, I'm gonna redo my thought here. Now that I think about it, because I've been fighting with Edge for like the last couple years, and it's pretty much just baked into Windows. You just removing it is just such a hassle. And recall will be the same, if not worse, especially with it being so attached to File Explorer. So I think you either deal with it and disable the feature as you need. Maybe I could create a tool to let you know, like maybe a little icon or a little pop-up and go, hey, recall is enabled. And we can kind of keep an eye on it. Maybe LTSC. Like, what's LTSC 2024 version based off? Okay, 2024 should be based off of... so LTSC 2024 will be based off of 24H2 too. Can anybody verify in chat if 24H2 or sorry, LTSC 2024 does include the recall feature? What problems have you had with Linux, whether minor or aggravating? Woods Beetle. I actually made a video about this. There's like, it's not necessarily anything you can't overcome. You can just, I think actually not too long ago. Here, I'll link it in chat if anybody wants to watch it. Is every time I run into something, I try and document it. It's like Linux problems, I think it was. Here we go. So Linux problems. I've been using, this is just like some basic power user things I discovered, had problems with in Linux that are probably a little bit more cumbersome, but overall, you can get through it. So here, let me... Oh, I can't post that in the chat, can I? Oh, I'm on Windows. Dang it. Gross. All right, here we go. Yeah. These are just basic things I ran into that from a power user standpoint that were problematic, but I was able to get workarounds for them. I've been using Linux for over 5. That was pretty good. So here, I'll put that in chat. Space Drive's fine, but it's not really an alternative. That's the thing. That's the thing about Space Drive, that it's fine. It's just not, you're not going to replace Explorer. You might use it on top of Explorer kind of thing. A lot of these drop-in replacements, I think, are just not viable. Seems to be an LTSC. Thanks for looking that up, Dove. Any way to deal with Manifest v3? That's another thing we got to talk about. Dude. Oh my gosh. These tech companies are just out of control. Between Google and Microsoft, man, I am just losing it. I got to tell you. Between the two, God, Microsoft just keeps shitifying everything. Same with Google, though. Like, I don't know how it got this bad. It feels like it just, like, look at this. This is what's kind of best chair for office work. So, like, this is awful. Like, just absolute crap. Well, you got one Herman Miller result, sure. But that's something they're paying for. This is all sponsored. You got a sponsored one right here. I mean, really, all these are just going to, like, let's say you go to New York Times, right? Are all of them going to be, yeah. See the outlinks down here? Look at the bottom left. Bottom left right there. All of these are going to be affiliate links. So they're like, hey, if you don't cut me a deal, I'm not going to recommend your chair. Yeah, I think it was like, what was it? Mr. Who's the Boss did a great video on it. If you guys want to see this, I would recommend this guy's video. What was it called? Google ruining internet. No. Oh, geez. Everyone's made this damn video. Whatever. It's on the internet. Point being, search has gone to crap. And it's just bad. And affiliate links just kind of ruin everything. Like, if I do a sponsored spot, I like to say, this video is paid for, and then I do the video. And then if you want to skip the video, that's cool. But you should know that video is paid for by that person. And yes, there is bias when someone gives me a product or I don't pay for the product, as with any YouTube stuff. So there's the YouTube angle of it is, if you get a product for free, or a company pays you money to review a product, that's not a review. That is a free product, and there's going to be bias associated with that video because of that. I understand that. And that's just how it works. From a mental aspect, when you go shell out $1,000 for a product and then you get it, you are free to just tear into that product and go, hey, I spent $1,000. This product sucks. And that just doesn't happen very much anymore on the internet. As far as Google goes, the search results are kind of garbage. The only thing I would do with Google... Oh, thank you, Coding Wonders, for the link. Was it Mr. Who's the Boss? I think it was, but it was pretty good. I would say the only thing Google's for... Here's how I search now. No, I don't just use ChatGPT, even though you guys probably will say I do. Best chair for office, Reddit. So if I'm going to do anything, Google pays Reddit millions of dollars so they can index their site and use their API. So the only search that's good on Google is Reddit searches. They're not paid or affiliated. So the only thing Google is good at now is searching Reddit. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the only thing you should ever use Google for anymore. If you want to search anything, it's just whatever the search term, space, Reddit. And then you get the Reddit results. And that's it. That's all that Google's for. Like, think of all the things you used to search Google for. Completely garbage. Yeah, Cite Reddit is actually even better. Thank you, chat, for correcting my insolence. Yeah, if you go Cite Reddit, it makes sure to isolate all the results down to Reddit. Usually space Reddit gets you there, but you can go Reddit.com to get it exactly. But it's just the sad truth of today. So if you want to search the internet anymore, we don't have a valid search engine. Most websites have turned to complete garbage because of the AI and shitification. Then you got YouTubers kind of just selling out, and it's just overwritten with all these giant companies coming in, pounding all the YouTubers and saying, here, shill our product. Here's thousands of dollars. I get that. As a YouTuber, I understand that angle. And I mean, I don't accept the sponsors because I just hate the back and forth, and I don't consider it a review anymore. You know, if someone gives me something, I'm like, yeah, I'll show it, but it's not considered a review because, well, you're giving me the product. Yeah. And sometimes people are cool with it, but a lot of times I won't sign any contracts, and I'm saying, hey, I'll take your product, but I'm just gonna do with it, and I may make a video, I may not, and throw it in there as best as I can. I'll definitely give you a shout out for the product, but as far as like a review, it's just not, I don't know, it just doesn't feel good to me. And the sponsored spots have just kind of gotten out of control. And then if you do speak your mind, let's say I stand up to a big company and I call them out for their bullshit. I take on just so much liability now. These companies are paying attention to Google, where it's like when it comes to YouTube, they a lot of companies do pay attention for them, and they'll send you demand letters if you bash their product. I've gotten legal demand letters from companies saying you must take down this video, and that sucks. It's not worth it to fight these giant corporations. They can bankrupt me. And that's just any kind of mid-sized creator just doesn't have the means to fight that type of stuff. So yeah, that happens too. Some of the bigger creators can push back. They can go public with it. So that is a thing as well. So yeah. It's just kind of rough. Is it unethical for me to accept sponsors for VPNs or even an Opera GX or have data harvesting? Yeah, I think it's unethical. Straight up. Like, if you saw me accept a Opera GX sponsorship, I think it's unethical. It's not a good product. It's not something that you should recommend to your audience. You're selling your audience trust. You're betraying your audience by recommending a crappy product. And to me, I think that's wrong. And I think that's why you see this life cycle of YouTubers that do this full time. And there's this huge peak. And then they start selling their trust to the audience. And then it just kind of falls apart. And then, you know, usually 5 to 6 years after they peaked, they just are making videos to 1,000 hardcore fans. And that's about it. You know, they'll still get like 1 or 2K views on a video probably, but they just kind of die off because they sell their trust. So yeah, it's completely unethical, in my opinion. Now, some people can compartmentalize that better than others and just be like, this is a sponsored spot. Like, I would think most people use Sponsor Block. That's a great plugin that skips all those built-in stuff. And I think some creators start off bookending those sponsor spots and people just know to skip them. And they just like, hey, they're getting paid. I think probably Linus Tech does it the best when it comes to sponsors because no one even pays attention to what the sponsors are on his videos. They probably use Sponsor Block and they skip almost all the both bookended sponsor spots. And then you just get to the meat and the potatoes of the video. You know, now, as far as sponsors go, I mean, some people have certain things. I think I saw, I think it was an internal document from Linus because he's probably one of the OGs that pioneered the sponsor spot. And like, he won't do VPN sponsors anymore. He won't do some certain things. So yeah, it just depends. But you got to understand that there is bias associated with when they accept products. But a lot of times, it depends on how big that bias is. The bigger the creator, I would like to say, it just depends on how it is. Like, Linus does have a lot of people, like when it comes to Asus, I know his marketing guy used to be a higher up at Asus. And I would imagine there's a lot of bias when it comes to reviews of Asus products, but that's because of all the connections that team has. And certain other YouTubers probably have other bias depending on who has sent them either the most free product or gotten paid the most. Like, would you endanger your revenue if that was the case? And some people, it is true, they do. So it just depends. I really hate a lot of it. You sound like you're sick of it all anymore. I kind of am. That's why I really haven't even done any reviews, sponsor spots, and I haven't really been making very many videos because it's just, if I make a video, I just want it to be my thoughts or what I'm passionate about or something I'm working on. And when I pull up YouTube now, a lot of the times I look at it and I'm just like, I guess this creator's doing a good job farming views. And a lot of it doesn't feel authentic. And that's the problem I have with most YouTube. Most of YouTube in general is a lot of the content feels less authentic now than it used to be. So that's the gist of it. Yeah. And I like I said, I don't mind. Like, Linus has been great to me. Any dealings I've had with those guys have been fantastic. And I have a lot of YouTuber friends that I've met, you know, especially in like the tech realm, that a lot of them are great people, and I've had chats with them extensively over all kinds of different things. And you know, I think it's just, I hate the profession of the sponsor spot, and a lot of the bias comes with getting a lot of the free tech we get. And that's why a lot of times I just don't accept much anymore. Yeah. And it's hilarious. It's total first world problems here, so don't take it like, oh my God. Oh. Would you mind doing a little experiment? Start DWM with X in it, then compile it again, and see if you get a crash. Sure, Peter. We can try it. Would you do a podcast again with Brody and others? Yeah. I always love talking with people with podcasts. The thing I like the most about what I do is chatting with other people. No matter, probably my favorite is when I'm chatting with someone and we have opposing points of view. I love to see the dynamic when it's not just an echo chamber, where you don't really run into this too much in podcasts anymore, or just online media in general. But I love having like a more of a interview, but there's a little bit of tension because one of you doesn't agree with the other one. And as long as you're respectful about it, a lot of people turn into like name calling and, you know, all that. But typically any stuff like that, I love that opposing point of view and kind of playing off of someone's ideas and beliefs when you have counter ideas and beliefs, and going back and forth in a podcast about it is amazing. Or even just an interview. I love that. That's some of the best. So even podcasts that I don't necessarily agree with or align with, I still like talking with them. But too often now, a lot of people really don't like that. A lot of people just want you to agree with them. And if you push back or go, well, what about this or this? A lot of times they'll try to talk over you or drown you out, or, you know, take offense that you didn't agree with them. And I'm like, that's unfortunate. You know, I think the most growth happens when you do have someone with opposing points of view and you can kind of play off their ideas. Anyways, I'm just yapping now. Let's try this. Yeah, and echo chambers are boring. And that's my thought. That's my thought process too. I just like that whole going back and forth with someone I disagree with. Yeah, Louis Rosman's awesome, man. I love him too. He's actually down in Austin. He's not too far away from me. All right, you said X in it. Let's quit this. We'll drop to probably TTY instead of a display manager. I'm not sure if this is going to display or not. Yeah, I've only had limited conversations with Louis Rosman. I think the only conversation I've had with him has been we were riding up in an elevator at LTX, actually, is when the only time I've actually talked with Louis. So it was like very much a passing conversation. But yeah, he seemed like a good dude for me. Usually I can feel that out. All right, let's go. So we launched with initx or startx, and we'll just go sudo make install, sudo make clean install, and what was I doing? Yeah, we used exit. Yeah, no DDM. I dropped a TTY, logged in, and just launched with startx. SDDM is installed, but not anything else. You look, it just runs xinit DWM using startx. I haven't run into that, so. Yeah, I think the other thing that I didn't touch on the whole YouTube thing, and creators in general on this, is, one, I don't like to get political or anything, so a lot of people play up the politics, which I'm like, meh, I'm kind of out on that. And then the drama. A lot of people like to sink into the drama realm, and then all of a sudden they're just like, okay, I'm going to just talk about all the drama in the world today, and we're going to make a short 10-minute video about my uneducated opinion on all this drama outside of my area of expertise. And that kind of makes me mad too, where when it comes to YouTubers just kind of, okay, what's the drama of the day? I don't know jack shit about that, but let's go ahead and talk about it anyways. And that's where I'm kind of like, why? What are you doing? Just, you're an expert on this thing. You should just talk about that thing. That's another thing I think I have a problem with that. You know? Just saying. So, I didn't have any issues. I don't see any errors here. xinit is me terminating it. So, yeah, I didn't have any issues. Yeah, I'm sick of the pseudo intellectuals. I agree, Ben. It's an easy trap to fall down too. You know, a lot of people have like epiphanies, like they're like, "Oh, guys, I've been thinking really hard, and I think I'm gonna say something really intellectual right now. Social media is bad for you." Yeah, I think everyone knows that. You know. And I fell into this trap a couple times where I'm like, oh man, hey guys, Facebook's evil. Yeah, I know. Water's wet. Sky's blue. Do you have anything to add to that exactly? And be like, well. I think if you could get like information maybe that no one else has, you could add something to it. But otherwise, it just kind of feels like view farming to me. I gotta ask, where did you get the Acer user smugness and the knee jerk? I did get that. And the knee-high socks meme originate from. I don't know where that came from. Probably DistroTube would probably know about that. I know he's used it several times in his thumbnails. This is the most user response ever. Well, actually, water isn't wet. It's moist, and it makes other things wet. Linux user spotted. That's awesome. Oh, Mental Outlaw. No, is he still around? I haven't seen anything with him for a while. The greatness of Microsoft Edge. Now, I can definitely rant on Edge, but I'm going to do a deep dive on how it integrates into the system. So I think I could add something more to that topic that no one else can. And that's the things I like to make videos about. If I can have a unique point of view, or I'm saying something I haven't seen someone else say already, that's when I make a YouTube video. That's like my criteria. That's my benchmark. It's not, hey, expect a new video every Monday and Friday anymore, or any of that business. It's like, hey, I'm going to make a video when I run into something that I'm like, ain't nobody seen some shit like this before. That is worth a video. That's when I make a video. The rest of it is just all noise to me. Install fwupd and fwupd EFI. Isn't that Linux, Clear Linux? what GNOME firmware says about HP. Interesting. What's the dependencies on GNOME firmware? So you got fwupd, fwupd, EFI. It's pretty much everything you said. Was there anything missing from that? Nah, I don't think so, actually. Sure. Let's install it and see what happens. The core problem isn't YouTubers selling out. The core problem is that we're being dumb with the internet. I agree with that. I think really the big thing is I just want original content. That's the thing. That's it. Just give me some original content is really the bar. I watch people that like to, if they can formulate an opinion that is their opinion and that is unique, that it hasn't been regurgitated 100 times, that's somebody I'm interested in. That's somebody I want to watch. And frankly, I think that's just good. That's what I try and do. And that's my benchmark. And I think that's the benchmark I want as a viewer, and also the benchmark I should have as someone that makes content. Is this unique? Has it been said before? If so, do I have a new spin on it? Do I have something more to bring to the table? If not, it's not worth doing. You had this blow up, huh? Is there a clean way to remove recall? No. Not as of yet. Unless Microsoft reverses course, it will be baked into your system in all 24H2 installs and more. I had a lecturer that said open source is cancer. Really? What was his point? Got me scratching my head. Why would he say open source is cancer? Does he have like Microsoft stock or something? Did he subscribe to the Church of Steve Ballmer? Like, I'm curious to hear the rationale besides open source is cancer. That's a pretty strong statement. Dang. I mean, it's so wild. I would want to listen to that just to hear what the rationale was. Or was it Steve Ballmer? Yeah. That's a good point. Oh, gosh. That is great. Yeah, definitely. So, so what is, you want me to reboot, I guess? Let's go ahead and do an update while we're sitting here. I don't think we have that many updates. Seems like just a few updates here. Man, I still love the Ballmer. About once every couple months, I still download the Coke binged, just ridiculous sweaty Steve Ballmer yelling developers. I was just like, man, that's amazing. All right, let's do this 6 gig update. Oh, I love that. I just love it so much. Steve Ballmer. Oh boy, the most successful roommate of all time. Oh gosh, yeah. I think it was what, the 95 launch party where they had like all like Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, everybody up there dancing, all weird. I mean, they had to be just out of their gourd. I love it. I love it. I love this company. Well, I would love that company too if I made like, it was $135 billion he made off of Microsoft. And all he did was like running it into the ground. What was it? Well, he probably the greatest clip I love from Steve Ballmer from a business perspective was him making fun of the iPhone. Remember, he's like, the iPhone? $600? That's ridiculous. I really like our Windows phone where it's at. And at the point, this was the pocket edition of Windows. I mean, it was crap. Even back then, I had that phone. It was complete crap. Now, I liked the reiteration of the Windows phone that the engineers made in the early 2010s to compete with Android and iOS. I still think the user interface from that phone was better than both Apple and Android. But because of the bad licensing, that's the whole reason it kind of crapped out. Because Microsoft was like, you will pay us to install this non-adopted, no ecosystem for apps on your phone. And manufacturers was like, yeah, but Android and Google are giving it away for free, and Apple and iOS, basically it's like $100 and I'm ready to go. Why would I pay these ridiculous licensing fees? And both those already have app ecosystems. And Microsoft is like, because we're Microsoft. This is when like monopolies forget that they have monopolies on like a desktop environment or a desktop systems, but they don't have a monopoly on the phones. And that's where Microsoft screwed up, is they're like, they forgot that they only have a monopoly in one industry, not all industries. And that was the big misplay there. I loved the tiling in the Windows Phone. I still say that was the best mobile phone interface. I loved it. I'm unabashedly a Windows Phone fan from the 2010s with the tiles. Just loved it. I still miss that interface. The 23H2 ISO is, Chad, you can download that. You can always download pretty much any version of it. Rufus, if you're on Windows, you can just download the ISOs direct on Rufus, I believe. Or MicroWin. We have it baked into MicroWin too. Yes, the Windows Phone was the only good implementation of Metro. Them trying to port Metro UI over into the computer desktop space was awful. I agree with that. Yeah, don't get me started with Windows 8 and like the start screen. Oh my word. That was just utterly ridiculous. 24H1 is better than 24H2. I don't think that's a thing, Harold. I don't ever remember there being a 24H1. The preceding version of 24H2 is 23H2. So you got to do 23H2 or 22H2. I personally like 22H2 the best, but if I was reinstalling a system today, I probably would use 23H2. So that would be the version to get. Metro UI, in my opinion, was like phones for the elderly with huge buttons. Yeah, I can see it. And I loved the huge buttons. But then again, you're talking to the guy where my daughter will walk up and go, Dad, the text on your screen is huge. Like, I'll sit there and pull up like a text message and... Well, I don't think it's that big. Let me see. Let me grab a harmless text. Yeah. Yeah, so that's not terrible. That's not that bad. Would you say Windows stopped being good around Windows 7? I liked Windows 7. I also liked also really liked Windows Server 2008 R2. I loved that version of Windows. I think it was way better than Windows 7 was. It was like Windows 7 without all the bloat and crap. So there was a good point where I was rocking that version of server on my desktop or my workstation because I just loved Server 2008 R2 so much. It's my favorite version, probably my most used version of Windows, I should say. Yeah, Windows Workstation 2000 was probably the best, most reliable version of Windows. But as far as my most used, I mean, shoot, I got it. What was it? MCITP Enterprise Administrator in the 2008 era. So it would have been Vista Windows 7 era. So maybe I'm just biased because that's what I liked the most. And Windows 7 was good when it first released, but a lot of people have rose-colored glasses of the Windows 7 era. Around, I would say, 2014, 2015, Windows 7 got bloated down with just as much telemetry, if not more telemetry, than Windows 10. So you'd ran into these ridiculous Windows 7 installs where some of them were 30 or 40 gigs. It got kind of stupid towards the end of the life cycle of Windows 7. Like Windows 7 went all the way to 2020, I believe, before it went end of life. And I just cannot believe people used it probably between 2017 and 2020. Windows 7 was just hot garbage during that era. It was exploited. You had the NSA tool leak. It just had so many bad problems with Windows 7 towards the end of its life. They really should have put end of life on Windows 7 way earlier. It went way too long. Windows 7 starting out was a driver nightmare. Yeah. It was difficult to track down drivers a lot of times. Now open up GNOME firmware. I don't think I've ever used GNOME firmware. Let's see what it is. Oh, very bright. So, what am I? Oh, HP system firmware. Not okay. What's the store button do? Sure. Let's just push all the buttons and see what happens. No releases available. No releases available. Refresh. I don't think this has a dark mode, guys. You're going to have to suck it up. Refresh. Update device list. Hope improve. Nah, I'm good. Ah, here we go. HP system firmware. We got 1.28, 1.25, 1.21, 1.27, 1.30. Oh, 1.1. Okay. So this would be the latest. We're on 1.210. We could go up to here. Oh, okay. Can we store this? Yes. I don't know what this attestation is, but I feel like clicking that button, I feel like it's important. All right, upgrade it. 1.28 upgrade. All right, to complete this update function, do not turn off your computer or remove the AC adapter. Sure, okay. This update requires a reboot. Yes. All right, hold on to your butts. We're updating the wolf. The wolf's getting an update. Yeah. Wait till I go to the BIOS. You guys will just burn out your retinas. It's so white. Attestation is to check if the firmware is signed, I think. Okay. Is Linutil something I can try right now? Yeah. I mean, we still got a lot of bugs with a Linutil. I got to work on it some more. I've been kind of taking it easy this month. What file manager do you pick? None. We're sticking with stock. I didn't find one that I really enjoyed. All right, system just turned off. Let's see if it turns back on. Remember the time you could change the color scheme of your BIOS? Oh, what a beautiful time that was. Honestly, just give me an old American Megatrends BIOS where I just use a keyboard. BIOSes with mice and the mouse cursor just feel terrible to me. I hate them so much. I just like the old school 2000 era BIOS where you just arrow key through, do your changes, save and quit, and you're done. Like, why do we need all these graphics? That seems just completely ridiculous to me. I think it's kind of funny that I'm letting chat upgrade my BIOS. I don't think this is a very good idea. So I should specify, don't do this at home. I don't think this is a great idea. But maybe they added a dark theme. I'm just saying. Yeah, I typically would not do this on a day-to-day. Well, I do have a battery backup on this system, so even if we did get a power surge, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Know what I wish there was a thing? This is something I really wish existed. People making custom BIOSes. That'd be cool. You remember like how you used to have like custom firmwares for routers, wireless routers? Remember like the WRT 54G routers from back in the day? And you could do like, what was it, DD, WRT? Ugh. The custom wireless firmwares were so cool. I would love that. A Libre boot's a thing, yeah, but you got to flash like the firmware and it doesn't really support much modern hardware. I can see in the BIOS release notes fixes of virtual machine configurations using GPU pass-through, which may cause fans to ramp. Oh, okay. Well, that might help me, AH, if it actually updates. I guess we're going to find out. This could go terribly wrong. Yeah, System 76 has a mixture. I think... I want to say they do their own open core thing on some systems, but not all systems. Some of them do still have like Intel management engine. They just disable it by default. I wonder how long it'll be until they use WebView for the BIOS page. Oh my gosh, that would be a terrible idea. Be hilarious. But I think that's not how that works. They have a core boot option downloadable. So do Framework. Really? Framework does. Well, it'd be cool. Did you give up on AoE 4? No, man. My Haven. I split out all my game streams and stuff over to a gaming channel. So like all my Age of Empires 4 stuff, I just separated all that out. So if I'm streaming tech stuff, I'm over on this channel. If I'm streaming like a gaming thing, I do the gaming stuff over there. But I mean, that's a very unique viewer. There's not much cross-platform viewership there. Doing an RTS Age of Empires stream, that is a That is a different beast altogether. So that's why I separated those out. Link to the game. Yeah, I actually didn't put links in on purpose because I was like, I just love Age of Empires. And I know some people would come into chat and then be like, hey, I got this new pull request. Can you look at it for me while I'm gaming? And I'm like, nah, no, I don't want to do that. So I purposely like left the links out because I didn't want people tracking me down and then start asking me about pull requests while I'm gaming. Like, no, trying to get this guy. I'm rushing. I'm trying to finish my build order and make sure I don't waste a whole bunch of resources. I ain't got time for your pull request. Oh no. No. Oh yeah, that's right. Age of Titus. Framework has a RISC 5 core boot release? That'd be insane. This thing has rebooted like 4 times, by the way. I haven't updated the website for Age of Titus. I thought about doing some kind of like API call and building out like all the games and stuff I've played and then having links over to like the YouTube specific timestamp of all the streams because everything gets recorded over there. All right, I think we're good. All right, well, we updated the BIOS, we updated the system. GNOME firmware seems to work just fine. We're on the latest and greatest. Let's check GNOME firmware. Do we need to refresh the metadata? Come over to here. We're on, there we go. 1.2.8.0. There's all of it. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Linux does stuff. Oh, my... Oh, do I not have that? Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. I forgot. I must have reloaded something. Did I just blind you guys for no reason? Oh, no. It's still broken. Like, why would you update firmware anywhere else? Yeah, there's no firmware there. Maybe, no. Yeah, so really just that. UEFI dbox. Check UEFI dbx. What's that? Yeah, I'm sure I did mess up my theming somewhere. Oh, run G settings. All right, let's do that. Did I mess it up? So then firmware. Nah, I still didn't like it. I'm too scared to update my BIOS. Well, I mean, BIOS updates are almost necessity for most systems these days. Especially for... I'd say AMD systems, you gotta update your BIOS. Because that is just so important. GNOME tweaks? I don't know. What is GNOME tweaks? Is that a standalone package on Arch? It's installed actually already. GNOME tweaks. Appearance. Cursor icons. Yep. Dark style. Oh, where is it? I never use this. Windows? Nope. Where would where's that at? Appearance? Icons, legacy apps. So then you go just dark like that. Or breeze dark. Probably like breeze dark, right? Oh, there's Nordic. Oh, go Nordic. Cool. So you go appearance, legacy to dark. So there you go. Close that out. Firmware. Nah, still didn't take. Appearance. Nordic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could try that. Just do GTK underscore theme equals Nordic. And then specify gnome firmware. Now that does work. Okay. You know what? I probably would just do this. Just so I don't blind you guys in the future, right? There we go. We'll just set it an ETC environment and be done with it. Ah, thanks, Peter. Well, we'll add it to the toolbox. We'll add it to old linutil. The whole point of like linutil too was we had, oh geez, where was that? I think it was under system setup. Global theme, and this was supposed to set everything. I'll have to look at it again. I think I'll probably do like some GTK theme and then query your themes, and I'll make like a topology and say pick Nordic if it exists, or pick like Odwalla dark, or whatever dark themes. We'll just find like a bunch of standard ones that should exist on all systems, and then just automatically pick that when you click global theme. So something to do in the future. All right, y'all, let's wrap it up. We're finishing it. What a successful day. File Explorer done. In result, didn't find a File Explorer I like for Windows. We'll have to think of something different there. Then we did an update with Arch here at the end of it. Saw a rant about modern YouTube and the internet that I didn't like, but you know, overall, even though that was kind of negative on the mid section of the stream, I do have a lot of hope for the future. There's a lot of really cool stuff, alternatives that I didn't talk about today too. And I'm really hopeful. There's so many really cool things that exist on the internet now that didn't 5 or 10 years ago. And a lot of awesome stuff has come about. So, well, if you watch this stream and you kind of got negative thoughts about all the modern state of Microsoft and Google, yeah, they suck. But that's okay. There's other things that are way better, and definitely a lot of alternatives do exist. And I'm pretty hopeful for the future. So don't take this stream the wrong way. I know I was a little bit overly negative. If I had to redo it, I would have liked to give a more balanced opinion. But, yeah, you know. Sometimes I'm like, why not block 24H2 update for now? Yes, you should. You should totally block the 24H2. I think I should have. I'll end this stream out here with this. I'll show the Windows users in chat how I approach it. So we're gonna connect, maybe. Okay, cool. We didn't end up breaking that. All right, let's just launch the toolbox. Actually, I got it on the desktop. So what I like to do in business, and how I always manage almost every single Windows system, is under the Updates tab, just click Security, Recommended Settings. This delays feature updates by 2 years. So if you have this setting enabled, typically you won't get updates and you won't be pushed to the latest feature update. However, you still get security updates, which is super important. So those security updates still keep flowing in, but you don't get updated to 24H2, which is great. So that's the thought process here. That's why I make it this way. So yeah, no, on a normal system, I would never see the 24H2 update until probably sometime next year. No, probably usually about 2 years after its release. So 24H2 will be pretty much inevitable come 2026. But hopefully by this point in time, they've reverted some of this recall nonsense. Although, given their current track record, they might just double down on that. So that's the current state of Windows File Explorers. I just didn't like any of the alternatives to swap out File Explorer. There's plenty that exist. I just didn't see any that I really would prefer over the stock Microsoft one. And it's not like you can delete File Explorer anyways. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, and as far as the recall feature itself, the recall feature I did not see on. I couldn't find any recorded data, and I didn't see anything getting shipped out from the recall feature being enabled. However, the fact it was just there is really what all the latest YouTube videos have been about. The possibility of it doing something is kind of what I'm like, why is this here? If this is just for ARM-based systems, and it's just for systems with an NPU, then why the hell is it there? And the neural processing units are coming into some x86 architecture, so I guess there is some explanation for it. But I don't know. I don't know. Just my thought. So, all right, y'all. Have a good one. I'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll do another stream. I think we'll probably we'll figure out what we're doing on that stream. I think we still got Windows utility to cover too. Still got to address Linux utility too. A couple things there. I haven't done a programming stream in a little bit, so I probably should get there. What is your suspicion? I think we all know what my suspicion on recall is, as is everyone's suspicion. Does anybody really trust Microsoft at this point? I mean, given their track record, it's not exactly like, hey, I trust you guys. You've never done anything wrong before. I mean, it's like every couple years something they do, you're just like, dang. Okay, I guess the bar's getting lowered a little further. Yeah. I mean, as far as like politics and stuff go, I don't know. I just know what they've done in the past, from killing WordPerfect to bastardizing Java in the late 90s to the browser wars and them killing Netscape to bundling Internet Explorer. I mean, we're just to like the year 2000. Actually, no, we're not even to the year 2000, because then there's the whole origin behind Quick and Dirty DOS, where it was kind of a complete steal from Gary Kildall's, CPM? So that whole DOS was a complete ripoff of CPM. So the foundation of Windows is pretty much built on a lie. And honestly, the GUI was all built using the stuff that Bill Gates saw at Xerox. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs both stole from Xerox to make the modern day system. So, I mean, all of it is just outright theft. At least from my understanding, from everything I've seen. And that's just up to the year 2000. And then you get into like the XP era, and you know, you have just a complete lack of security, the merging of the NT and regular kernels, a lot of the problems with that. Yeah, Microsoft's never been a very good company. They've never been good. They've just been first. And they've been ruthless. Don't get me wrong, they're good at business. They're in the business of making lots of money, and they're very good at that. And they have patents on a ton of stuff. They're able to abuse the legal system to such a degree that it's just insane and criminal. but they have just taken so many ruthless tactics, whether that's patent trolling to, going after and killing off various companies. It's wild. It's wild what they've got away with. I would say they've done more damage, I mean, than a lot of the mob and mafias from the 70s and 80s. It's kind of crazy. And that's just what I know of or what I've heard about. And you can look up all this stuff that I'm saying, and there's a clear history of it. Now, there's probably some nuance to this history that I don't know about because I'm only 42 years old. And a lot of the people that did know the more inner workings are already dead or a billionaire. And that's why I agreed. Remember, balance. You got to stay on balance. So easy to go down the bad road. Agreed. And so really what I try and focus on is how can we make things better today? I think it's really easy to get bogged down in holy, why is this happening kind of thing. But really what I try and focus on is how do we make it better from where it is today? And I think it's easy to get lost on the negative and not forget about, hey, there is plenty of solutions. And I think anybody can come in and challenge the status quo. So that's all very good things. But anywho, all right, y'all, have a good one. See y'all on Thursday. I've been saying goodbye for like an hour, so I'm out. Peace.